what happening. Thanks to come, first of all, and I intend to make it more productive for all of you who have decided to be here today. And we'll be talking for another 2 hours, trying to understand what are your aspirations, trying to tell you what are our aspirations, which will be eventually filled by you only because you will be my future brand ambassador. Correct? So, all the students who are passing class 12th, who have passed class 12th, this is a very important part of your life. Correct? 4 years of their grad. It's an investment, both in terms of time, both in terms of your parents' hard earned money. It needs to be in a right manner. So, I'll walk you through a brief first, a message from our Vice Chancellor. And Taran, can you please? Screen is visible. Dr. Raj का message चला.
Welcome to Open University. We're delighted to welcome all of you to the campus of Open Global University. I know that several of you have heard about the institution, interacted with our faculty, and you might have visited our website, you might have read our brochures, but this is a very special moment when you're actually in our campus. The campus, of course, as you can imagine, is among the most inspiring spaces ever created in the world. I have had the privilege to study in universities in India and around the world. I studied in Loyola College Madras, University of Delhi. I was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford, did my master's there, went to Harvard Law School, did another master's there. I taught in many parts of the world, but when I've traveled around the world, I have to confess, this is among the most amazing spaces in terms of institutions. I also want to welcome all the parents and the students, and also those of you who are thinking about joining JGU. I know that several of you have already taken admission, but I also know that some of you are really evaluating whether this is the place you want to be. Let me say that there are 5 things that distinguishes our university from pretty much any institution in India, but also even beyond. First, our outstanding faculty. I can assure you that the professors and the teachers at JGU are among the best, by far the best, not just in India, but around the world. Their qualifications, their experience, their scholarship, their publications, their inspiring journeys are truly transformative opportunities for our students. Second, the teaching pedagogy and the strong commitment to interdisciplinarity that the university fosters for students across all schools and programs, across all levels of study, be it UG or PG. The third is our strong commitment to creating a global experience. We have international collaborations with over 430 universities spread across 75 countries in the world. These collaborations provide opportunities for our students. Fourth is our strong commitment to research. We have over 75 research centers as well as 4 institutes, each of which is advancing the research agenda of our university. Our faculty members work closely with our students. And the last is our strong commitment to experiential learning, internship opportunities, and ultimately preparing our students for placements. I also want to say that this university is for those individuals who are prepared to push their limits, who are prepared to work hard, who are prepared to reimagine their past experience to create a new future. This is for those individuals who are prepared to accept the challenges of high quality education. This is not for the weak hearted. This is not for those people who are not prepared to work hard and to achieve their fullest potential. And hence, I invite you to join JGU for a transformative educational experience. I look forward to meeting you in person in the next several weeks and months. But today, I want to extend a warm welcome to the campus of Open Global University. Discover the campus and keep getting inspired by these experiences. Thank you very much. Welcome to OP Jindal Global University. So delighted to welcome all of you.
So you were listening to Professor Raj. He's the founding Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal University. You would be glad to know that Dr. Raj is the youngest vice chancellor in the history of India. He became the vice chancellor and he set up this university at an age of 34. And at that time, when Dr. Raj wanted to set up this university, he was in New York. By that time, he already had a degree from Oxford on 100% scholarship. He had a degree from Oxford on 100% scholarship. He's a BCom graduate from Loyola College, Chennai. He did his law from Delhi University. And at 32 years of age, when he had tasted the flavor of both national and international institutions, best of which he had been, he had this idea in his mind that why none of the Indian universities come among the top 200, 300 in the world, when on the one side, we as Indians have proved our worth everywhere, right from medicine to corporate to science to technology. You talk about, we all as Indians occupy some very key positions. And that was the brain idea which he had. And I want to start something in India. And he was looking forward for a benefactor who can invest in his dream. And he was introduced to our Chancellor, Mr. Naveen Jindal, where Dr. Raj shared his dream that I want to set up a world class institution, a global university, and I am looking forward for someone to invest money in my idea. That money was not less because he was asking for almost 500 crores. The first request was to give 500 crores way back in 2008. Imagine, not a small amount. Then there were two conditions which Dr. Raj mentioned that anybody who is planning to invest in his dream, there are two conditions. Number one, the person would not ask for profit. Can it happen in India? If we ask someone, you give me some money, and that some money is 500 crores, but you don't ask for any profit. Does it happen? Generally, we can't imagine. Correct? And the second condition was I want 100% autonomy, 100% freedom. Whether it is selecting a faculty, launching a program, formulating of the admission process and policies, anything and everything, 100% freedom. And what you are witnessing today in 15 years is a testimony of all the hard work, all the vision which have been done over here by different people who came over here. So the vision comes from the top. I'll show you something about the JGU story. So this was the picture, and this is here where we are sitting right now. Imagine JGU in 2008. When we started in 2009, we launched the Jindal Global Law School, and you all must be aware that it is India's number one law school. Our law school is ranked 72 position among the top 100 law schools of the country. When the first batch came out in 2014, and we are talking of 2024, with 20 faculty members. Today, we are 12,000 students. We are a fully residential campus where from India, we have students from 27, 28 different states coming and studying over here. We have 12 different schools, starting from law school, business school, banking and finance, where you all have been a part of. And rest all is history. This is who we are in terms of our different schools. We have psychology, we have School of Language Literature, journalism, art and architecture, public policy. This is what global means to us. Jindal Global University. You will always find this word global in middle of it. So as a student, you need to understand, why do we call ourselves global? You have to ask this question. Global क्या है? It is not just having a foreign collaboration or some foreign faculty coming and teaching you. No, it is making you a global citizen, because the world has changed and the job opportunities have changed, the skills have changed. You all have to ask your question, are you future ready? Because after 12th, when you are entering into any college, you are going for 4 years. You all cannot take a decision very, very casually that, okay, fine, I have to join this college because my friend is saying, I applied, that is why I want to join. Because the courses which will be coming now in front of you under the Jindal School of Banking and Finance, which my colleagues will be highlighting, you would have never heard of it. BCom Honors is a very old name. I am a BCom graduate. Our Vice Chancellor is a BCom graduate. But if you are pursuing BCom Honors in Jindal, what you are studying in Jindal is not taught anywhere in the country. And we will explain you why. How? But since you are our ambassadors, holding such kind of sessions, one-to-one, one-to-many, make us connect to you, understand what are your dreams. What do you want to be after 4-5 years in your life? As a college, as a university, what can we do to help you realize those dreams? Because your parents are investing a hard earned money, which is not easy at all. And therefore, we feel it is our moral responsibility that you should know the entire purpose of coming to this campus. Otherwise, somebody graduating with a degree is the least thing what you can take from here. So you need to grow your aspiration, and that is what the Vice Chancellor himself said. Sitting over here, imagine, in 15 years, it is among the top 750 universities in the world is not an easy task at all. It is an institution of eminence. There are 4 or 5 universities in India under the private sector which are having this institution of eminence status. And Jindal University was the second university to be awarded this status in 2020. So for whom did we achieve it? From the hard work of our teachers and students. Because who is teaching you? What is being taught to you? That is more important. We'll go, this is a snapshot of our faculty members. They come from 51 different countries and they are here as full-time faculty members. We are not talking of visiting faculty. Interdisciplinary learning. This is very, very important for all the students to understand, because the new national education policy which got implemented last year, it talked about this word regularly. अब ये interdisciplinary learning है क्या? What is interdisciplinary learning? Can anyone as a student tell me? Any student? Would you like to throw some definition? What do you understand? अगर आपने ये word पहले सुना है, what is interdisciplinary learning? Yes or no? Anyone wants to give a try? Don't worry. अगर गलत होगा तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. Yes. Mike. We want to break this ice, because when we passed out school in our life, this is the toughest part. When you ask a question, normally everybody looks left and right and thinks, should I give the reply or not? Please.
Okay, so basically, interdisciplinary is like instead of just going down that one path and studying those very specific subjects, we have the opportunity to study subjects that are out of our normal courses and and a normal curriculum basically. So like as a student of commerce, I will have the opportunity to study subjects like law and psychology.
Okay.
So that is basically
That's good. I'm happy. What is your name?
Kesha Chachan.
Kesha.
Yes.
Which program have you got an offer you are applying?
Yes.
Which program are you selected for?
BCom honors.
BCom honors.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic, Kesha. Thanks for sharing that reply.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Let me just add to what Kesha tried to say and how it matters to us. If you are doing BCom honors, correct, you understand the terms like mergers, takeover between the companies which happen. What if I give you an opportunity to study a subject which is merger and acquisition law? Will it add some value? When two companies are merging with each other, law तो हर जगह apply होता है, correct? And to give you that knowledge, I don't have to bring any faculty member from outside. They are all my in-campus resource. Campus. That is, in simple words, called as multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary learning. So if you are studying, let's say, BBA honors, and if you are studying digital marketing, you may take up an elective in digital marketing law. If you are studying BA honors finance and entrepreneurship, where you are studying a part of entrepreneurship and finance from the Jindal School of Banking and Finance, and if you find some elective which is offered by business school, if you want to take it, you have an opportunity to take it. If you are studying a subject in the finance which is pertaining to, let's say, the financial part of bitcoins and cryptocurrency under BCom honors capital market, correct? And if you take an elective from Jindal Law School which deals into the financial laws, will it add value to your knowledge? Definitely. That is why we call Jindal Global as a university, and the middle name Global is this in terms of our curriculum. Is it clear? This is the entire one academic block. Whether you are a law student, you are a business school or a banking and finance student, you all come study here, and you are not living your life as a silo. That I am only confined with banking and finance student. No, you're talking to somebody who is doing law, studying a subject like trademarks, copyrights, patents from the law school. This is very important part, because what makes Jindal Global University or the Jindal School of Banking and Finance different is our faculty members. The average age of a professor in Jindal University is 35 to 37 years. How it will help you as a student, I'll tell you. The connect what a professor at an age of 35, 37 years can make with you at your age of 17 and 18 is much faster, much better as compared to someone who is already 50 plus. We try to teach you all those things in the world of finance, which is happening now. And if you go back in your life, hardly 3-4 years ago, when COVID happened for the first time, and when the lockdown happened in March 2020, and when your studies went online, did you hear the word Microsoft Team or Zoom in that manner in 2019 December or November? कभी सुना था आपने? Life has changed from ATM to Paytm. Our phones have become our wallets. आज हम कहीं भी जाते हैं, we just search for a barcode. Am I right? Whatever transaction you want to do, you don't go and look for your wallet. You see where is that sticker which shows a barcode and where you can make some payment. India is the only country with the highest number of digital transactions. Within 7 seconds, imagine you all notice it, doing it, we all do it. How easy it happens. I am deboarding a taxi. Bhaiya jara Google Pay dena. Bhaiya Paytm dena. I don't need to think about it. That is how the world of finance has changed. And it will change higher and higher. So you need to understand, are you going in the right direction in the world of finance? Because people don't ask for hard cash or your ATM card now. This is a matter of great pride for all of us because these are some of the accolades which we have been able to get. In 2017, we were ranked as the cleanest education campus in the country and we were ranked number 1. Imagine in 2017, I remember we had close to 5,000 students who were studying in this university that time. Cleanest campus. Today we have roughly 10,000 plus students full-time studying in this campus. We are number 1 private university as per the QS World University rankings. Our law school is ranked number 1 yet again in 2024. So now this is something which we have as future plans. Let's see what we are and when we are going to do it next. And now I would invite my colleagues from the Jindal School of Banking and Finance to join the stage with me, and they will walk you through the different programs, the curriculum structure. So please, one request. I know it would be tough asking for this favor at 3:30. It's Sunday afternoon. Don't take a nap. Don't sleep. I can see some of the faces already going half down. It is tough, but we are here for a bigger purpose. If you feel sleepy, if you want to have water, water is just outside, but just give next 90 minutes to us. And I am pretty sure all of you will definitely go back with much informed decision and awareness about the courses what we have. It's very important because somebody sitting over here must have opted for BCom honors, somebody would have opted for BA honors, finance and entrepreneurship, somebody might have opted for global BCom or maybe capital markets. So they are the best people who are the faculty members who can tell you, because I'm pretty sure if you go outside and if you ask someone what is global BCom, nobody can tell you. So I have invited my friend from Deakin part also to share her views, and let's make the best utilization of this time. After this session, we will walk you through to the hostels and we will take your queries. So may I request Professor Prashant, Professor Alok, Professor Laknath, Professor Minakshi, you may please join Professor Hemant. Professor Ram, I think, would be joining online, or he would be joining. So Priyanka, you may please join us. So this is you. You may sit anywhere you can sit. You can sit on my. I don't like to sit. Please, I don't sit. Please have a seat. Yeah. So I would hand over the mics to them. I don't want to bore you from my side, but yes, they are the people who will be with you for next 3-4 years if you decide to be in this campus. So over to all of you, and who would like to start first? Yeah, you may. Yeah.
So good afternoon, everyone, and let me welcome you all to this open house. And the basic purpose is to have a lot of discussion. You people might be having a lot of queries. You need to decide about the career for your ward. Some of the students are also there who might have taken the admission or they are in the process of thinking it. So you might be having lot of queries, lot of doubts and all that. And what we are going to do is that we are going to give you a brief idea that how things are going to proceed. So I would like to start with Professor Alok Pandey, who is the Vice Dean of our school, that is Jindal School of Banking and Finance. And briefly, he is going to give you an idea about what all courses do we have and how these courses are different from other places, what is the value addition and all that. Over to you, sir.
You have the presentation here. So good morning, everybody. I hope you had a nice stay till now at the campus. Jindal School of Banking. Oh, not really. No, that was a mistake. But I still feel whenever they go, jab jago tabhi savera. So the moment you start hearing me, that's the morning, right? So we have this particular meeting for introducing you to the school. I'll quickly take you in 10-15 minutes about what the school is and what programs we have. You might have seen the institution. You might have been at the lunchroom, the Vidya Devi Jindal block. You might have seen other facilities. Probably the admissions team would have guided you through. I'll take you quickly through the programs we have. So we basically have a mission here, and we wish to position our school as India's first global finance school. Largely, the nomenclature is BCom Honours and BA Finance and Entrepreneurship, BCom Honours in Capital Markets. We have an MSc program in Finance. We have a BCom Global with Deakin University, these 4 programs. But the focus of the curriculum and the content is largely in terms of building up a banking and finance school. Slowly, as you understand, we are moving towards a 4-year program. 2023, we've started with the 4-year thing. The 4-year programs, the majority of the content in each of them would be accounting, insurance. I had a meeting with an Australian university, Bond University, and we are trying to pitch in with some actuarial science element into it. We already have some element of capital markets with tie-ups with National Stock Exchange. We have an MOU with Multi-Commodity Exchange, and our student Divyam Gautam, you were watching his video. So the idea is to build a school which is positioned as India's first global finance school. There are a lot of things here. We had discussed this in a presentation last time, but I'd rather say that these are like probably ideas for tomorrow's finance professional. We wish that all of you, as you pass out of this program, you turn out to be leaders in your life. You are able to identify what is happening around. Remember, the biggest problem today is that the world is changing fast. The only thing permanent we have is change. So yesterday I was looking at some news items and some news reports where they said that IIT Bombay, 40% of students could not find jobs. And, they were giving reasons. AI has come in and a lot of things which we never envisioned have come in, and students have to be ready with what life has to offer them. I basically believe that if you are capable, you will involve yourself in learning in next 4 years. Not think in terms of getting a job, but think in terms of learning about yourself and the world. Remember, the skill set which you develop in these next 4 years automatically would enable you to get a job. Every capable person would be able to fend for himself. Remember, if any of you watches National Geographic channels or Discovery channels where you see the world of animals, only those who are the fittest survive. The focus of these programs are to make you a fit individual. A person who is fit to take on the world, a person who is able to understand the world around him, a person who is able to understand the trends, understand laws. In fact, we have 2 broad ideas. One, the core courses. The other one is the elective courses, which you take after 4 o'clock every day. So the fact is that you understand the world, you understand the trends, and you understand what skills are required. Whenever you want, we'll be bringing up people. We organize a lot of events, And these programs are largely driven by a lot of visiting faculty also. So so these 4 programs are on offer from our side. We have BCom Honors. This is with the ACCA. We have BCom Honors Capital Markets, which is with the National Stock Exchange. We have a global BCom program with Deakin University. We have a MSc in Finance program, where we have a kind of a new 1-year program which we have started. In fact, the UGC guidelines now say that the undergraduate programs are to be 4 years and the postgraduate programs are to be 1 year. So in that line, and we also have a PhD program. I'll give you an idea. In the BCom Honors program, we have ACCA, our current partner, and the focus is largely accounting. The courses are mapped with them. In the BCom Honors Capital Markets, the focus is capital markets, and the target audience, in a sense, is those students who are too keen to learn about capital markets. And remember that the capital markets are the stock markets, the fixed income markets, even commodity markets are now part of capital markets because they have the same regulator. You also have something called pension funds, which are a new area which are developing. Insurance is another idea which comes in. So what happens in capital markets, because they have a large number of instruments which are about capital markets, they need to be taught. So courses are created by faculty members. They are vetted by a team. And then, we have a kind of a curriculum which is for capital markets. We have some courses which are specifically taught by National Stock Exchange faculty members. We have now the NSE Smart Terminal, where you will be given virtual cash, say 1.25 crore rupees, to trade. You don't need to waste your parents' money in trading. In any case, if you trade online, 90% chances are you're going to lose. One of the recent reports by SEBI says, we do not want people to trade in derivatives. Don't go by the advertisements which come on television. They're there to fool you. Use virtual cash, 1.25 crores. We have 30 licenses with them. We are planning to set up some kind of a center of excellence in capital market research. So probably we'll have other terminals and databases which will be added to it. Use them and learn and improve your skills in finance. As you improve, you'd find that you become more employable. Why just employable? You probably could be an entrepreneur. So one of the programs which is about entrepreneurship is BCom BA Finance and Entrepreneurship. And we have tied up with the IIT Kanpur Incubation Center, where they take you to places and to companies and make you meet these entrepreneurs. They often come to the campus and discuss how companies are formed, how finances are raised, what is venture capital financing, how to raise money in the markets, and probably a lot of things go into it. So those who have interest in it, you get that into the program. The Global BCom program, 2 years here and 2 years Deakin, is another program which has a novel element into it. You learn about the world, and you learn about a lot of things which are there in other countries in the programs. So these are the 4 programs. We've started a PhD program this year. Last year, we have 3 candidates in that particular program, and we do not focus too much in terms of saying that we open a PhD program, a lot of people come to us and we write a PhD for them. No, it doesn't work like that. It simply is that there's a coursework involved, and then they have time for synopsis, and then they have 3 years time to complete their research work, largely with the focus in banking and finance. So some of the points which I wish to point out here is that you've seen all these things here. You've seen the infrastructure. You've seen the idea of globalized and remember that here we have 80 plus tie-ups only for JSBF. I have Dean Professor Laknath Jaisinghe here, who is a professor of marketing and an Australian national who heads our IAGI as Dean of the international affiliations. So we have 400 plus tie-ups at the level of university, and we have 80 plus specifically for the Jindal School of Banking and Finance. I, for that matter, work closely with Professor Laknath Jaisinghe as I'm in charge of the Office of International Strategy and Mobility. So you have chances to go for semester exchanges. You have chances for doing dual degree programs. Even if you don't come for the BCom Global program, you still have chances for dual degree programs. You have chances for international immersions. We regularly take programs. In fact, there are a lot of immersions. Last year, we organized one immersion program for the Macquarie University, and we had around close to a dozen students. This year, Macquarie has written to us that we'll have 30 students in that particular program, and that program was doing business in India, and we had interacted with the students, and of course, you'll interact with them, they'll sit in your class, and you will have that international exposure of incoming students. You will have a chance to Look at Australian and other universities, American universities, when you go in immersion programs there. So variety of choices there. You have internship and placement supports for all the programs. Professor Meenakshi Tomar, Vice Dean of the Office of Career Services is here, and she will be briefing you as to how you can actually engage in experience. Remember, what we teach is basically information. You convert information into knowledge through the tools we provide you to assess whatever information is. Through the internship experience, you add some wisdom to you. Remember that while doing your internship, you won't become very wise. You probably will have to work for 10, 15, 20 years to be a little capable or be called wise. So the internship available basically helps you apply your concepts you learn here through the OCS. So you've seen the infrastructure. You've seen, we've got these tie-ups. We are now talking to Financial Planning Standards Board. We are talking to CFA Institute. Our application is already with them to make it a university-approved program. The BCom Honours Capital Markets program. Probably we'll get the status and you will get a chance to get some scholarships to pursue CFA program and learn. We'll also map our course accordingly to the CFA program. We tied up with MCX last time. We already have NSC with us. So largely, all of us, the teachers who are here have a mix of industry and practical exposure. We have academicians of repute from IITs, IIMs and top international universities. I have some colleagues here. I think I had Professor Somedeep and Amlan here. They're not here. We have several others like I, along with Professor Hemant and Professor Dayanand Pandey, have fair amount of experience in top business schools. We also have board positions with us. We work on with companies live. We work with stock exchanges. We work with different systems, both me and Hemant. We have several other faculty members who are very strong in terms of their industry connect. So probably you have a blend of academic and practical exposure, and this is what draws us to the banking and finance school. Essentially, I am from a business school. I had majority of my time with IMT Ghaziabad and Professor Hemant at SP Jain. But the point is, we both love to be at School of Banking and Finance because it is close to what is happening now. We say, whatever is business is finance. So what happens is that we have these tie-ups with majority of the top names. We organize these international exposures. We often meet these people from across the world. We do work with them. The international immersion programs which we take, they are, some of the top universities are with us as MOU partners to help you out. We organize a lot of events where students become part of the system. We also have a student council. You can be part of it. Apart from sports and other extracurricular activities, you have a student council. The student council helps us organize these events. They're all led by you. So flagship event is Global Finance Conclave. There's another one. There's a Center for Research in Finance, Technology and Law. So that organizes a conference. There are distinguished lectures. And remember, we don't mean distinguished lectures that I call a vice president of a company or some general manager and I call it distinguished. If I say distinguished, it will be chairman of a bank. It will be chairman of a stock exchange. And he'll be someone very senior. So we don't, just go by the idea that, some industry person comes and no, it doesn't work that way. And students help us organize it. Often we organize this Global Finance Conclave. Recently, it was the 5th edition of it, India's resilience amidst global turmoil. And we had a large number of people, top level people from different domains who came here. I think one part was in Performing Arts Academy, the other one here. We had people from around the world who spoke in that particular event. And, not just from, we had Professor Meenakshi Rishi, who inaugurated it from Seattle, and Professor Ashwini Mahajan, who is one of the major forces. So we had Professor Meenakshi Rishi was largely left, Professor Ashwini Mahajan was largely right, and it was a wonderful exposure to our students. So we also had this Craft and Law conference, and this one, again, gave a lot of focus. We got these people for our distinguished and nifty lectures. We organized a research conference with the University of Delhi. In this hall itself, the Governor of Haryana gave the valedictory address. We had close to 3,000 professors from across the country who stayed on this campus for 2 days, I think 13th to 15th of this last December, right? So it was inaugurated by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. It was our partnership. Jindal School of Banking and Finance was the core school which organized it. So that was a major conference. We, of course, had the national northern zonal rounds here where Divyam had topped the list and he went to Mumbai to get, you can see Divyam with the managing director of Multi Commodity Exchange getting a prize, and the dean of one of the major University of Mumbai along with him. Several of our students get placed. I am not too big a fan that placement should be the objective, but yes, they do get placed. The OCS provides you support. As you work your way through, you will have a lot of chances for both internships and final placements. We are there to guide you, and we believe that if you pick up whatever courses you take up and learn thoroughly, you probably not just be an employee somewhere, you will end up employing people for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Alok, for briefly sharing the insights about all the courses and how JSBF programs are different from other institutes. Now, I would like to request Professor Laknath Jaisinghe, who is the Professor and Dean of Office of International Affairs, to talk about what all global initiatives do we have. Over to you, Professor Laknath.
Academic JSBF intern house.
Thank you. Which is the microphone? Which is the hand mic I use? This one?
340 molecules.
Can I use that? Thank you. Ready? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. That wasn't very encouraging. It happens after lunch. It happens after lunch. Anyway, good afternoon. My name is Laknath Jaisinghe. I'm a professor in marketing at Jindal Global Business School, and my other role, and I'm speaking to you in that capacity today, is Dean at JGU's Office of International Affairs and Global Initiatives. So our job at the Office of Global Affairs, International Affairs and Global Initiatives is really to look after and help advance the student mobility options for our students at the university. Oh, okay. So you can probably tell, Prof. Alok mentioned it before, you can probably tell from my accent, I come from this country over here, Australia. I was born and raised in Melbourne, did all my schooling in Australia. My PhD, my master's was from the University of Queensland, my PhD from the University of Melbourne. Taught for a number of years in Australian universities, most recently Macquarie University. I've worked for 10 plus years in the Australian advertising world, and 7 years ago, I came over here. It's been a wonderful experience. So I'm just going to introduce you to my team. I must say, this is a university level office. We work very closely with JSBF's internationalization team, headed by Professor Alok, who just spoke. And my team, there's my handsome pick up there. My team is composed of Dr. Akhil Bharadwaj, who's the Deputy Dean and Director of the office, and Miss Shubhi Jain, who's the Manager of our office. So should you come on board to JSBF, I would advise you, once you've settled in, come and set up an appointment with either one of us or indeed Professor Alok at your school, and we can help map out an internationalization program for you. Whether it's, and I'll talk about the various options and the various programs we have for our students, but come and see us once you've gotten settled. So, I'm here today to talk really about, at the macro level, what is internationalization about and why is it important for our students? going to talk about three things today. The first is you are entering a school or preparing to enter a school of banking and finance. And yes, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, other tier 1 cities, right? These are also global centers of global commerce and banking and finance. But in different geographies, you will be exposed to different practices, different understandings, different emphases, different regulatory environments, different laws. And it's important to have an idea of all of this. So one of the reasons why we encourage our students, me at the business school, Professor Alok at the JSBF, one of the reasons, the strong reasons we encourage students to participate in our internationalization programs is to get exposed. In fact, when I speak to students at the business school, I speak to many prospective students who have applied to JGBS. When we speak to all our prospective students and ask them, why JGU? Why us? There's many other fine colleges, and I'm sure you're also applying to many fine colleges. Why us? And the response I get back all the time is that, sir, I'm looking for some global exposure. And indeed, I think Mr. Vikram Singh earlier mentioned it, that we live and breathe our middle name, G, global. So, exposure to the diverse nature of global business, management, finance, technology, the emphases in different geographies, and the importance of understanding those global trends associated with those different technologies and attributes. The second, that's more professionally, if I put it that way. They're all professional, but that's more domain specific. The second is understanding different cultural practices, understanding how people in different geographies think, behave, act, do, customs, right? If we're preparing you for careers in global finance, global commerce, you need to know how different people in different geographies behave and think and act. How, for example, to hold a conversation in another global city, for example, Singapore. You might end up working for one of the global investment banks, or maybe indeed one of the global management consultancies. You might have a team meeting in Singapore, indeed Sydney. And you need to understand how your colleagues, right, how they think and act and behave. The third is also understanding, and global commerce and global finance work through this idea of globalism. The fact that nations are connected, economies are connected. I know if you pick up today's business press, indeed today's mass media, you'll see that there's a challenge, a contestation, perhaps a seeming rollback. But global commerce, dare I say, is global. And it's important to have a fluency, an intercultural fluency, being able to speak global. And sometimes that doesn't just exert itself at the level of global business practices and how to engage in a business meeting. It also exerts itself in micro-level ways. How to sit at an international business dinner and hold the fork and spoon, fork and knife the right way. Which drinks, if you drink, to have and how much. And what conversations and how do you speak, right? Thinking, acting, being global. These are what we try and instill in our students or encourage our students to develop when they go abroad. Okay, very quickly, what does this mean? I realize there are students or potential students as well in this room. So what does this mean for you, perhaps, as a potential student at JSBF to go abroad? One, it means you're sitting in a foreign classroom, learning from perhaps the same subject might be taught in different ways. There's often different emphases, different national education policies infer that there are different emphases in different countries. There might be different technologies available in different universities. The second is to expand your professional network by making friends, colleagues, people that you'll be spending time with in a global classroom, for example, when you go on a semester exchange or indeed one of our dual degree programs. You might avail yourself of career opportunities if you end up doing a dual degree program. You might have an opportunity to stay and work in the UK, in the US, Canada, Australia, and so on. And of course, new classroom experiences, learning through new pedagogical, new learning philosophies and new means of learning. These are all classroom-based and more professionally driven. But our mission at Jindal is also to build global citizens. So, when you go abroad, you see the world, you develop competencies and confidences to do it by yourself. Many of you might be going abroad for the first time by yourself, right? Learning how to manage finances, living, disciplining yourself to get up in the morning and going to a lecture, seeing the world, experiencing the geography, whether it's my country in Australia or travel through Europe or North America, making new friends. Yes, I mentioned earlier expanding networks, but this is friends, people who will actually travel with you throughout life. Not necessarily, but perhaps also, not necessarily as colleagues and LinkedIn connections, but these are your, people you can rely and trust, your friends. Learning new cultures. I mentioned before, it's important to develop an intercultural fluency. Learning new cultures, understanding about different geographies and the histories and the impacts and the events that have come to form the ways that different people think in different places. Immense. And all of this helps you ideally become global citizens. And that's one of the central missions of JGU. Okay, very quickly, I want to run through the three opportunities, the international opportunities we have. I'm not here to talk about which universities we partner up with. If indeed you come on board to JSBF, come and set up an appointment with any of the three personnel I screened up before, myself and my colleagues, or Prof. Alok from JSBF. And we will devise a plan for you to help you get to whichever university, whichever partner university we have, will help you get there. But what we offer are three different types of international programs: short, mid, and long term. Short term are those 2 to 3 week, what we call winter and summer schools. Right? 2 or 3 weeks, you go abroad in a group of 15, often into a bespoke program made for us, made for Jindal students in one of our partner institutions. For example, we have an upcoming summer school with New York's Pace University for concentrating on banking and finance. Our students often go to in winter, and these programs are available to all students across Jindal, by the way. So our students often go in winter to the University of Oxford on a human rights winter school. These are short-term programs, 2 to 3 weeks, often bespoke, often curated for the interests of the school. The second are midterm programs, what we call semester exchange, where you go abroad and you enroll in a foreign partner's institution for one semester, and you sit and study, ideally, as a local student. Access all available opportunities as local students do, whether it be at, say, Sydney University or Queen Mary, University of London, or University of New Brunswick in Canada, for example. There are two different types of semester exchange. There are those that are free seats, where you do not pay tuition. These are merit-based, and as you can imagine, they're hugely competitive, right? There's only very few of them available. You really have to be truly the best and brightest at JSBF to get the free seats at good partner institutions. You are, and we do encourage you, many do go on what we call paid seats, where you pay the tuition for one semester and you sit in as a regular Macquarie University student, say, in Sydney, and you pay the regular tuition fees, right? We also have a threshold, a marks-based, grade-based threshold for that, but it's of course a bit lower than, as you can imagine, the hugely competitive free seats. So if you're interested in them, start thinking from the get-go about building your CGPA, your grade point average, right? Don't squander your opportunities. And the third opportunity we have are longer term programs. These are what we call dual degree, and one of my colleagues from Deakin University, Australia, will be speaking later on about one of JSBF's partner programs. It's a it's a joint program, actually, the 2+2 Global BCom. But that's an example of a dual degree where you spend 2 years here at JGU, at JSBF, and then you spend 2 years in that instance with the Deakin 2+2 in Melbourne in their bachelor program. And you end up with 2 degrees. You end up with a JGU degree, JGU BCom degree, and you also end up with the degree from our foreign partner institution. So I'm going to leave it there. Should you come on board, please get in touch. Once you've got settled, please get in touch with anyone from my team or Prof. Alok Pandey, who's the Vice Dean International at JSBF. Please get in touch with him or someone from my office, and we can help map out a program for you. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Professor Laknath, for briefly guiding all the students and parents about the international opportunities which they can avail when they are joining JSBF. So thank you so much. Now I would request Professor Hemant Manoj, who is the Professor and Executive Dean at General School of Banking and Finance, to talk about the teaching learning philosophy at JSBF. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to all of you. It's a pleasure welcoming you to this place. And just to introduce you quickly, introduce myself to you. My name is Hemant Manoj. I I come from I'm one of the professors at General School of Banking and Finance. I will be talking to you about the academics at JSBF, how we go about. Unfortunately, there is some hitch in the presentation, so I will not be able to run the presentation. I did have it, but I will talk about it. Maybe sometimes we should just look at each other and talk and listen rather than looking at the presentations. So, to begin with, what is the philosophy of academics at JSBF? Some things work out. Thank you. Thank you. So, to begin with, let's talk about how the curriculum is designed at JSBF. When the students will be coming at JSBF, we have a curriculum laid out for the entire 4 years of undergrad. In the case of undergrad, in the case of postgrad, which we have a 1-year program, the entire curriculum is already laid out. So without getting into the specific details of the courses, let me tell you the structure and the design of the courses, how we go about it. So what happens in terms of the structure, we follow what is called the new education policy. The new education policy. It is the government's education policy that was introduced in 2020. So all the universities now need to follow that. So we also adhere to that policy. As per that policy, all the courses will be in certain buckets, certain categories. The biggest bucket of courses is what is called the core courses. The core courses is like the backbone of the entire program. So for example, in the BCom honors, or for that matter actually all the programs, some of these courses will form the common core courses. So accounting, corporate finance, quantitative methods, principles of management, right? We introduce the young students as to how you manage businesses right in the beginning stage. What are some of the initial basic concepts? Fintech, right? That is again something that all the students do. Blockchain and AI. So these are some illustrative examples of core courses that all the students are exposed to. They learn these courses. That is the first bucket, and that is the biggest bucket. Roughly about 60 to 65% of the entire program the students will be devoting in this. And they will be devoting enough time in each of these courses. You know, the professors, like my colleague, Professor Alok Pandey already mentioned, the professors are well equipped in terms of both their backgrounds as well as the preparation for the classes, the course materials. All these things are well designed so that it's a comfortable as well as challenging mix. It's a mix of comfort as well as challenge while doing these courses. The idea is the student should come out at the end of the course having learned something significant about it, right? So this is the core courses. Similarly, there is another set of courses which is called elective courses. You would have heard our VC's talk right in the beginning. He said one of the core features of the university is the cross-fertilization of learning across various schools and various disciplines. It's very important, by the way, for a finance person to understand human behavior. You know, if you don't know, let me tell you from my experience, I have worked in the industry for 25 years before I started teaching, and various sectors of the industry. I've been in various positions in various sectors, banks, markets, mutual funds, various areas. Understanding human behavior is very important. And indeed, it's important in any area of business. So, yes, you have the option to take up electives related to human behavior, electives related to technological developments, electives related to legal procedures, law, various kinds of courses, right? So those are coming in the electives. That depends on, so in a 4-year program, first 2 years you will be doing only the core courses. This I'm talking in the context of undergrad. In the postgrad program, there will be two semesters. So first semester will be only core courses. So 50% of your entire duration will be only in core courses. In the second half, by the end of the period that you have finished the core courses, the first half, you will have some idea of starting to build what you want to do in life going forward. So that is the time you can choose out of a range of courses, which are called the elective courses. Within finance itself, there is a lot of electives. So for example, you have investment banking, you have portfolio management, these are some of the elective courses that are in the finance area. So that is the second set. And then third and fourth set is what is called skill and practice based. Sorry, again, this is not working.
PDF, you just have to scroll down.
No, this pointer is not working.
Because it's not a PowerPoint.
No, this is fine, the pointer. No, upar, up. Please do not move this slide. इसको ऊपर इसको छोड़ो. तो बंद है ना अभी, बस छोड़ दो. Sorry, it's not working. So here the third tick that you can see, skill and practice based courses. There are certain courses, right, where it helps you develop your skill sets after gaining the academic knowledge in that courses. So this is what I wanted to spend the maximum time. This is how the curriculum we have collectively as the professors in the institute have collectively put our minds and developed a customized curriculum, right? We have brought in our experiences from across the industry and the academic side, right? Individually, some of us have spent several days together brainstorming and coming to what should be the optimal curriculum. That way we have brought. So I wanted to spend some time. There is a lot of thought gone into it. The curriculum is, of course, reviewed annually. Main purpose is that it should be current and relevant. The world is changing fast. Finance world itself. There are certain things, core things. So let me tell you something. There are some things which don't change. Last 50 years, there has not been a single new theory developed in the finance area. Last 50 years, there has been nothing developed in the finance area in terms of theory, right? So certain things remain constant. But in terms of applications, there are a lot of things that have been happening. And they are still happening. So we have to keep an eye on both the sides and thereby inculcate the right kind of knowledge in the students and in skill sets also. Okay. Now, broadly, our objective is to develop the students in terms of their knowledge, their skills, and the attitudes. How does it happen? Knowledge is mostly in the classroom. The core courses, more specifically, as I said, core and some elective courses. The skills, again, there are certain courses, they are skill set based courses, which means you do certain things, including interactions, simulations, meeting industry people, right? assignments. These are some of the things that helps develop the skills, application side, right? So this is the second objective of our course focus. And then finally, attitude. To be honest, it's very difficult to develop the attitude within the classroom, right? We do try in terms of demonstrating the right behavior. You know, the students learn at a young age. You learn from what we as parents, we as teachers, we as your seniors, how we behave. So that is one setting example, right? It's not just within the classroom, it's outside the classroom also. So, but as I said, this is the framework we try to follow. You become strong, the students are supposed to become strong in knowledge, skills, and as important, if not more important, is the attitudes. I mean, as parents, we know that attitudes matters most while carrying out our real life businesses, right? So we do that. This was just to give you a flavor of, as I was talking, the finance world, application world is changing quite a lot. So these are some of the things. So you used to have an earlier world which was the manual, then it went to digital, now it is AI based. I mean, even kids are getting into school, kids in middle school, you know, that kind of a stage, they are getting into AI based. So it's imperative that we all progress in that direction. So some of these things that is happening, I have just quoted some illustrative examples, what is happening in the markets, what is happening in the banks. For example, in the banks, now the bank is, you don't go to the bank is in your pocket. How? It's in the mobile phone. You know, the younger generation doesn't need to know where the bank is located. So today, you need to be familiar with what are the applications in the banking industry that you can operate through technological means, right? Which is what is fintech. In the markets, so some of you would be familiar with the markets, stock markets more specifically. You would have heard of something called T+0, you know, which means earlier days, I mean, when I was growing up, I would sell a share, I will get my money after a week. Today, already when you sell a share, you get the money at the end of the day. And it's going to now, very shortly, it's going to be, I sell the share, just like you do any cash transaction, you sell the share, you sell a commodity, you get the money in the other hand. Now you'll sell the share, you'll get the money real time. These are changes happening, and this is something we familiarize our students, we bring into our curriculum, we demonstrate, we do what are the implications. These are the implications on cost of running a business. This has implications on the returns you make from businesses. These are the things we try to explain to the students, right? So, and then, well, the world is changing. That is the only constant. So we do look at what are some of the things that we do, like systems, processes, regulations, the business, risk and analytics, user experience. These are the various dimensions of the business that are changing. We bring all of that through various courses, through various experiences. I would not just say courses, through various experiences we try to bring it into the life of the students over here, learning of the students over here. Right? So that's, I guess, this is my last slide. Thank you very much, and I will end it over there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Hemant, for highlighting the teaching learning philosophy of JSBF. I can understand it's a post-lunch session and some of you are feeling drowsy and all. But since this is the first interaction and we have a lot many things that we are carrying in our kitty, and this is a platform where we can actually help you understand that how things happen. So please be with us for some more time, and then hopefully we will be at a comfortable position, and then we'll take you for a round, and hopefully at that moment nobody will be feeling drowsy because it's super heat outside, right? So thank you so much. Is Professor Ram connected? Just check. Okay. That's great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Professor Ram, are you there?
Certainly, I'm here, Prashant.
Yeah, it's all right. So next, I'll invite Professor Ram B. Ramachandran. He is the professor and vice dean at Jindal School of Banking and Finance, and he actually looks after the Industry Connect also. So, Professor Ram, I'll request you to briefly help the audience to understand that how do we help our students to get ready for their internship, placements, and other opportunities, and what kind of Industry Connect do we develop, and how we help our student to develop that one. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to you, Ram.
Thank you, Professor Prashant. Appreciate it. And welcome to all the parents and students in the auditorium. Unfortunately, I could not be there due to some personal emergency. And so I'm speaking to you live from a different part of India at this point in time. And very brief introduction from my side. I joined the academia from the industry after spending 35 years working in financial services sector primarily, but working for management consulting companies like Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers and KPMG. But primarily based out of New York. So I travel here to India during the semester and I go back home, back to the US during the semester break. But unfortunately, I could not be there in the campus today, but it's such a pleasure to talk to you. I can't see you folks in the room, but I think few people have already mentioned that it is very hot and you guys are getting a little sitting in the room after lunch. So can I request one thing from all of you? Can you just turn around to the back of the room and introduce yourself to your fellow students or fellow parents of students for one brief second, just to shake your body up a little bit and get some energy in. Just stand up. Turn around and look at the students sitting right behind you or a parent sitting behind you and introduce yourself. It'll be very good. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. Please. You'll move the juices flowing in your body. You'll feel better. Very good. I assume that you guys have done that, and I can't see you, so I assume that you all are able to get up and say hello to each other, which is great. Which is the first part of introductions, and so several folks spoke to you about networking. Professor Ratna spoke about networking. Hemant spoke to you about skills and building the attitude. It all starts with building that relationship and character. So I joined Jindal School of Banking in its very first year, and Professor Hemant talked about the envisioning the program, which is going to be different than the rest of the country. And so I was involved in those design of those curriculum and thought process in terms of what we need to do to make curriculum that is going to be meaningful for the future. So over the last 5 years, I've seen the growth of students and their capacity to understand what the new India is going to look like and the new banking and finance is going to look like. And we have seen those changes in front of our eyes. Right? So when we did start thinking about what is the future going to look like, we looked at the World Economic Forum in terms of thinking about future of skills and future of work. We looked at other consulting companies that have done a lot of research in terms of what the future of work is going to look like. And we did engage with several banks, both fintech companies like Paytm and with more traditional banks like HDFC Bank and others, and got their input into the mix to understand as to what kind of curriculum would be most relevant so that you can be productive in the future, maybe 4 or 5 years from there, right? And we believe that some of the work that we have done in terms of imparting the right set of skills and course curriculum knowledge comes to bear when we see the students graduate and be positioned in organizations that matter to them. There are things that we can do institutionally in terms of building the experience and expertise for yourself, because as part of your curriculum, internships are mandatory, as this is part of your credit requirements. So you need to complete, I think, 4 or 6 different internships over the course of the 4 years. And that is a mandatory requirement. Otherwise, you can't graduate. And we help you through the process of finding internships. But I would say it is more of a collaborative effort. Partially you have to also be on the lookout through your networking skills to make sure that you are able to find the right type of internships. But also the Professor Meenakshi Tomar, she was there before. I don't know whether she's still there in the room or not. The Office of Career Services, or what we call as OCS, they also have a set of initiatives and programs to help you find the right sorts of internships. So as part of the internship process, we want to ensure that we get the right set of organizations. But more importantly, we make sure that you are ready to be part of an organization or a corporation. And those corporations could be typical banks or investment firms, or it could be consulting companies, it could be a not-for-profit organization. But we want you to experience over the course of the 4 years a wide variety of challenges and organizational cultures, right? It's important to understand how an NGO operates as against how a digital marketing company operates, how a film production company operates as against how a traditional nationalized bank operates. And we have seen students go to all different types of organizations over the course of the many years. And students who are wanting to do internships have found internships. Those who have to do internships have found internships. So we have helped through that process. So you'll find on our website, many of the major companies that our students have been interned at, and the process is fairly straightforward. Working with the student council, we ensure that there is appropriate engagement with the industry, and the industry connect team. There is a number of faculty members who are involved in this, who bring in companies into the university, and you can fill the forms at the beginning of the year and say that this is the type of internship you want to do, and then go through the process of interviewing for those companies and then get selected. But as part of that process, OCS, you may have also heard that they help and coach you in terms of how to write resumes, how to conduct, how to be in front of the interviewing panel, and how to respond to certain questions, right? But your career progression is not just based on internship, but also it could be some students decide that after they finish their undergraduate program, they want to go for higher studies. So our faculty and the broader JGU community is very involved in making sure that you get the right set of advice and understand as to what does it mean to do an MSc in finance, or do an MBA program, or pursue a PhD program. It all has different connotations and implications, and so we try to coach you through that process. So the opportunities are limitless. It all depends on what you make out of the resources available within the university. So ultimately the onus falls on you as a student and as parents to make sure that the students are razor focused in terms of what they want to achieve in life. So coming to that, I want to kind of briefly mention about the last part of what Professor Hemant mentioned as it relates to the attitude. One of the offices that we have at Jindal School of Banking and Finance is called the Office of Student Welfare. And we want to ensure that our students are richly recognized, and they develop the appropriate character to go out into the world. Right outside the cocoon of the JGU campus in Sonipat, there's a wide world there, and so we want to make sure that they are appropriately equipped and trained in that. So I strongly believe that a person's learning happens probably as much outside the classroom as inside the classroom. So while you can develop some of the attitude, develop some of the skills and the knowledge in the classroom, A lot of things happen in your dorm room as students. It happens in your dining halls. It happens in your activity when you are on the sports field, whether it is or on the stage, enacting a play or playing a musical instrument. So it is as much learning that you do outside the classroom as inside the classroom. So the Office of Student Welfare helps you and provides you the mentorship and advice to make sure that you are building that character, right? And building their overall capabilities around that. And we support you, right? So I'll give you a couple of examples. There are students who are interested in research. So we ensure and encourage those students to work with other schools. So whether it is a government and policy school or whether it is a law school, we encourage them to work with other schools, participate in competitions, whether they are consulting competitions or whether they are doing research papers. One of my students, Harpreet, she recently went to China to present a paper on artificial intelligence. Even though she's a banking and finance student, she's going to join a venture capital startup company, right? So very different viewpoint, but then she's able to span across different domains. That is interdisciplinary, how to apply artificial intelligence, and especially in the startup world, and being able to write a paper and present in front of a large audience in Beijing is one set of skills that we help develop. I'll give you another example. Harshad, he is originally from Chennai, and he was a roller hockey player, right? And he used to play for his district. And then over the course of the last 2 years, he was playing for his state, Tamil Nadu. And so we encouraged and made sure that he was able to attend all the practices that were done by the state government and attending all the different training sessions and such. So recently, last week, in fact, we got news that he has been selected for representing India. He's been going to Madrid, Spain, and representing India in the roller hockey competition there in the month of June. So these are the kind of things that builds character in terms of how you develop teamwork, how you develop communication skills, how you ensure that you are empathetic to your fellow students. That is a part of learning as well. So we want to encourage each and every one of you as a student to go beyond what you'd learn in the classroom to build your network. And because building this network also helps you in terms of getting jobs and in a career on a long-term basis. You build that relationship, right? And so that is how we encourage as a school to make sure that you are a well-rounded personality when you graduate out of General School of Banking and Finance in 4 years' time, and make something absolutely terrific out of it. So, so that's a few of my points that I wanted to get across to you. There is a lot more, obviously, that we do provide and encourage in terms of mentorship advice and providing you the necessary ropes to find internships and final placements as well, if you do decide to do that. Many of our students decide to go abroad, like Professor Lucknow just mentioned, or some of them decide to undertake jobs. Many of our students do that. And they find the jobs as part of their internship activities, right? So, and how you do that is because you are able to bring out your correct personality and character that you do when you are participating in different competitions and engaging in social activities outside the classroom. And that's what comes across when you go for internship. And so they learn that, okay, you are a good personality to have. However much artificial intelligence may come and talk about displacing jobs, human touch and behavior and smell is not going to replace that. And as a professor who teaches and in emerging technologies on artificial intelligence and robotics, I can tell you that no humans are going to replace AI and robots. So with that very happy thought, I'll hand it back to Professor Prashant, and I'll still be here to answer any questions you may have. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ram. Thank you for briefly sharing that how we help our students to secure the industry connect. Thank you so much. Is the Vice Dean of Office of Career Services at the university level, that is for all the schools, to briefly talk about that what all career opportunities are there for the students. Over to you, Meenakshi.
Thank you very much, Professor Prashant. And I think he's already given me a task. He says briefly, well, I'm going to make it brief, but I would certainly like to throw light upon the most important aspects of what as a parent and a student should you be expecting in terms of your journey with Office of Career Services. Briefly about me, I am Meenakshi and I am the Vice Dean with the Office of Career Services. I teach at the Jindal Global Business School and my expertise is in communication. So very briefly, the very first thing that Office of Career Services understands is to do an assessment of skills. Now, there are certain skills which are directly tagged with what you're doing in terms of your program, but then there are so many other skills that you would need over a period of 4 years or 2 years, 3 years as you transit with time to develop in order to be industry ready. Now, to do that, there are a lot of workshops, training programs, skill development programs that we undertake, not only through the internal resources, but also through the industry expertise to come and deliver those. We would want to ensure that in case if there is a student who would want to go ahead with a research track versus somebody who's looking forward to employability option, we are here to support the student at every juncture. And therefore, the next leg that Office of Career Services would do is to ensure internship support. It is very important for us to understand that if you are enrolled in a particular program, your internships need to be aligned with program specifics so that when you are moving out to work or maybe to function for your own self, you're able to understand what it takes right from the base level to an advanced level of functionality of whatever course you are enrolled in. We lay very heavy emphasis on networking with our alumni, and that's a very important thing that we take pride of. There are a lot of success stories that we have, and our alumni from time to time, if not from banking and finance school, but from across the other schools, would also come over and share with us what is the need, how can we contribute effectively to any particular school, not just banking and finance, but to the other schools also. So that is a collaborative approach that we look at. Jindal School of Banking and Finance is very strong in terms of its foundation of getting the industry right in class, and Professor Alok Pandey, Professor Hemant have rightly shared so that through the conclaves, it is also a matter of networking for the students. Now, how to network is the question, and how to succeed in that is another perspective wherein Office of Career Services helps you out. I will be sharing a lot more in a detailed session that I definitely intend to have with the aspirants of BCom Honours and the other programs at Jindal School of Banking and Finance, and I would be able to share a lot more about how good our students are doing in terms of their internships, what kind of profiles they get into when it comes to internships, and what kind of institutions do they prefer going, and how are they able to crack that through. Now, there could be one name of an industry, or there could be one particular name, which is KPMG, hires our students into various profiles. However, that's just one. There are a lot many others. But what we try to do over here is to ensure that we are able to get opportunities. Cracking the opportunity lies as the onus of the student. Preparing you to crack that opportunity, of course, is going to be a collaborative effort wherein what is expected is that you attend the training and workshops that we deliver from time to time, you are prepared well, and therefore you're permitted to sit. So on that note, I'm going to conclude, and once again, a very warm welcome. Now from a scorching heat, you're going to transit to a sunset time. So I look forward to meeting with all of you. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Professor Meenakshi, and thank you so much for keeping it short, sweet, and simple, right? And now I'll request Miss Priyanka from Deakin University. If you can recall, we have a program called Global BCom, which is a 2+2 kind of arrangement. where our students go to Deakin University and they study over there. So she's going to briefly talk about that, and then we'll take all the questions. Over to you, Ms. Priyanka.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here this afternoon and to be able to talk to all of you. My name is Priyanka Singh, and I'm the Executive Director, Deakin University, South Asia. What I'm going to do, I've been given 5 minutes, so I'll try to quickly wrap it up. I know that there has been a lot of presentations and talks, so please bear with me for next 5 minutes. I'm going to structure my talk on 3 things. First, about Australia, about Deakin will be the second, and then the third, why Global BCom. How many of you have traveled to Australia? Can you please raise your hands? Great. Okay, not many. So Australia, as you all know, it's a multicultural country, very warm, welcoming, so easier for Indian students to settle down there. So very, very easy for students to be calling it home. That sort of comfort is there because people from across other countries come and settle down in Australia. It's the most urbanized countries of the world. Resilient economy, never has been into recession. Offers very, very promising ad on TV. It's also known for its culture, art, culinary, cafe. Australia is exciting. It's quite exciting to explore Australia. So if you're thinking of eventually progressing for your masters, or maybe while you're doing your bachelor's here, Professor Laknath, through international collaboration office, you can explore opportunities. Do consider Australia because it does offer promising opportunity for students. Bit about Deakin University. We are one of the most progressive and prosperous universities of Australia. We are ranked in top 1% of universities worldwide. We have been consistently ranked as best university on student satisfaction 13 years in a row, so we take great pride in that. And also we are #1 university in Victoria for graduate employability. We understand the return on investment. We understand students are looking for opportunities. We understand that students want to work after they complete their studies. So it's not just a piece of paper, but what you get is an industry readiness, job readiness curriculum and degree at Deakin. Also, Deakin's Business School, which is where the Global BCom sits. Deakin's Business School is AACSB and EQUIS accredited. With these 2 accreditation, we feature in top 1% of business schools worldwide. AACSB, ladies and gentlemen, it's the American accreditation, and EQUIS is the European accreditation. So what it means for students and parents is that the curriculum that your wards are going to learn at Deakin, the skills that they are going to gain will be highly employable, and the degree will be acceptable worldwide. So it's a global employability is what students look at when they come to Deakin University. Talking about Global BCom, now I have a little anecdote to share here. So back in 2021, both vice chancellors met, and both of them are equally progressive in their thinking, and they wanted to bring an offering which actually benefits students, which actually puts students at the heart of it. And then we had series of workshops between the faculties of 2 universities, and there came the Global BCom program. It's co-created, co-designed. The curriculum has been vetted Also vetted by the industry, especially the degrees that come from Deakin University. We have industries on advisory board. So this unique opportunity is given to students. They can start here at Jindal School of Banking and Finance. They can do first 2 years here, which gives them solid foundation, and then they transfer to Deakin and they complete their 3rd year and they become eligible for 2 degrees. One bachelor global BCom degree from Banking and Finance School, and the Bachelor of Business degree from Deakin University. The student then ladders into MBA for 1.5 years. So 2 plus 2.5 years, students get actually 3 degrees. One is Global BCom, which is from the home country, and then you have 2 degrees from Deakin University. Now, how does it benefit? Most of the students who start their undergraduate here, they eventually think of doing masters in an overseas destination. So if you're thinking of Australia, and if you're thinking of doing masters, it will actually cost you, almost same what you would end up spending after doing 2 years at JGU. So with the same investment, you are able to get a degree from JGU and then 2 degrees from Deakin. Now, having a UG degree and a PG degree, both degrees from Australian University, actually gives you that advantage when you're thinking of long-term stay in Australia. Also, your employers recognize your education in a much better way as compared to just doing 1 degree. Third thing, you have comfort of starting from your home country. What we've observed over the years is that undergraduate students, they find it little difficult to adjust in a global environment. So therefore, this unique arrangement which allows you to spend 2 years here, and the environment, the infrastructure, the pedagogical, the teaching and learning, which you saw in one of the presentations, is exactly the same. And I'm pleased to report, Professor Pandey, that you're thinking of starting a trading room here. Deakin has one, and our students trade stocks live. So that's how the classroom is. So highly practical oriented. So if you're coming from Global BCom, you're better prepared to settle down in Australia, and much prepared to take on the 2 degrees that Deakin offers. Also, very pleased to share with you that 2022 we started this program, and the first batch is transferring this year in July. So that's been our journey in short. Happy to take questions if anyone has any questions. Sorry, one more thing. Once you complete, then you're eligible for 3 years of post-study work rights in Australia. So once you complete your master's, you can stay back and you can work in Australia for 3 years. While you're studying at Deakin, you can also work for 48 hours in a fortnight. And the average salary that one can expect after completing masters is about 60 to 70,000 per annum Australian dollars. So with that, I would like to conclude. If there's any question, I would be happy to take it. Thank you so much.
Good evening to all of you. Let's open the house for the question and answers. If you have any questions pertaining to campus life or maybe life outside classroom or anything which you want to know, Can we have a mic? So
Good
you
evening,
must
sir.
sit and then.
Good evening.
Good evening,
First,
sir.
I must compliment to all your team and professors for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you,
I
sir.
myself is BCom 88 from Hindu College, Sonipat, then CA, then MBA from IIM Lucknow. And I'm really impressed. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
You see, nowadays BCom was what it was. And looking your structure and kind of effort goes in personality development and leadership and communication, I feel excited to do BCom again. But my question is, in a rank-based society, we are. Like my daughter, when she was doing, what is the rank of MBA school? What is the rank of this? So you with pride told that law, you are number one in private. So congratulations for that, and you should be proud for that. Now my question which was coming to my mind is, nowadays, if people do rankings and all, if I go and tell my wife or my relatives or myself that, okay, I have decided for my son Arnav to do BCom from your college. So how do we say, and what is the ranking you are aspiring for? If not today, where you are, I don't know. Thank you.
That's an important question. I'll not speak from my position. I'll tell you, like, I have been associated with the university for 9 years. I joined this university way back in December 2015. I have completed 22 years of my professional journey only in the higher education sector. I interact with almost 50,000-60,000 students and parents every year. And for me, my rank is my student. No newspaper, magazine is good enough to tell me where do I stand. That is my personal belief. I would not negate that these are not important. But Jindal School of Banking and Finance, I launched the BCom Honours program first time in 2017 in business school. The first program, BCom Honours, was launched in 2017 in business school. And in 2018, we started the Jindal School of Banking and Finance. 2018, we all know, it's started, and then COVID happened, 2 years, hybrid classes. But in all this, 5-6 years of span, you all got some handouts which I initially gave it during the reception registration. If you go and see that handout, I've shared some key information about what makes us different. I, as a director of admission, focus on two things. Number one, who is going to sit with my students in his or her class for the next 4-5 years. That's very, very important. The students who come in Jindal, either for banking and finance or even for BA Finance and Entrepreneurship, which has just 30 seats. I'm not sure if you know it or not. The global BCom program which we are aspiring this year, we have a total intake of 10 students. The BCom Honours Capital Markets course has a total intake of 30 students. And BCom Honours has a total intake of 100 students. The 30 students who come either in capital markets or in finance and entrepreneurship, they come from nearly 18 to 20 different states of the country. It is very, very important from a student perspective because India changes after every 50-100 kilometers. And for a course like BCom or BBA, where the society mindset is, ye to kahin se bhi kar lo. That has been the mindset. Why should I travel from Bangalore or Chennai to do a BCom in Delhi? Or maybe so far off. To understand all that, a person who comes with some background of experience, like you mentioned you have been a chartered accountant, if you go and deep dive and see the curriculum, then a person would understand what I am going to teach and why the BCom program or the finance and entrepreneurship program is very different. Yes, OP Jindal University started with law in 2009, and therefore a course which started in 2018 with the school would definitely need its own time when the alumni will come out and prove its worth. But JGU, not the law school, is recognized as an institution of eminence. And eminence is given by Ministry of HRD, not by a private entity. So you all are the driving force of the banking and finance school, whether you do BCom, whether you do global BCom, whether you do finance and entrepreneurship, because we as teachers can only give you good environment. We can give you good industry opportunity to learn. It is your discipline. It is your hunger. Where do you want to see yourself after 4 or 5 years? In 2020, when COVID struck, and when everybody was thinking in India that there is no point where the education happening in an online mode will take the students, should they take a drop, what exposure will happen. There was a boy who came from Bangalore, and I'm not sure if his video was shared here or not. His name is Artham Mittal. That boy, for 4 semesters, he did his online studies. He joined here when the hybrid session started. And when he graduated, when he was in his last semester in January 2023, he was hired by a company, D. Shaw, and there he did his 2 internships. They gave him a pre-placement offer, and that boy got a package of 21 lakhs. Now, the question is, should I join a BCom program just by seeing or read that somebody got 21 lakhs? Of course not. That should not be the case for any student, because I personally feel the college gave him an ecosystem through teachers, through classmates, through Industry Connect, and it was his hard work as well. You all who are aspiring to join Jindal this year in any of the courses, you all are handpicked like this. How many of you, if I may ask as a student, who have already got an offer and who have paid the admission fees? Just raise your hand so that I can quickly. Students, just raise your hand. I'll ask you a question. Which program have you gotten? Which program?
BCom Capital Market.
Capital Markets. BCom Honors. Honors. BCom Honors. BCom Honors. Global BCom. BCom Honors Capital Markets. Have all of you students who have already got an admission, either paid the fees or wanting to pay the fees, have you joined the official Instagram page of Jindal School of Banking and Finance until now or not? Have you joined it?
No.
Answer can be yes or no. If you have not joined it, you have done the biggest mistake. Because after passing class 12th, it is not just the Jindal School of Banking and Finance where you have applied. You would have all applied to multiple options. Correct? I have seen in my life in the last 4 or 5 years specifically, every student, including you would have definitely applied for 5, 6 different colleges. Correct? Ask a question from yourself. BCom Honors, it's a course where you will find at many colleges. But BCom Honors Capital Markets, BA Honors Finance and Entrepreneurship, you will not find everywhere. And if you are not doing a research properly, knowing what exactly is being taught, if you are not connecting with your professors, how do you think you will get that confidence that the course which I have chosen already is fulfilling my dream or not? And then you tend to get confused and you seek for advice. And the biggest problem I always say in India is free advice. Every house has a doctor. You want an advice, you don't want an advice. People are free to give it. जिसको नहीं पता वो सबसे ज़्यादा जोर से बोलता है. 90% लोगों को तो इंडिया में ये नहीं पता कि ऑनर्स वर्ड का मतलब क्या है. They would say ऑनर्स मतलब स्पेशलाइजेशन. हम में से कितने पेरेंट्स को या बच्चों को आज ये पता है कि जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी की जो बात हो रही है NEP 2020 वो है क्या? Why should somebody do a 4 years honors degree and why should somebody do a BCom? Because अगर आपको मास्टर्स करनी है, आपको MBA करना है, तो it clearly says you need to be a graduate. आपके करियर की बात हो रही है, आप लोगों से वो करियर स्टार्ट होगा, तो डोंट यू थिंक यू आर नॉट डूइंग एनफ? आइदर यू थिंक ऑफ जिंदल और एनी कॉलेज कि ये है क्या, मुझे क्यों करना है? Sir. Yeah, he's bringing it.
Sir, while I quite appreciate the time that you took to give this answer, and I do understand that this answer has its own importance, but let me also tell you that having been through the IIT, IIM system myself, as children, and now I'm talking on behalf of children and I have a child sitting next to me, is that there is a herd mentality that operates. You cannot be unaware of it yourself because you must in your own career have followed a herd mentality, or maybe you were special and you decided to travel and choose a road which was. And that herd mentality looks at one or two key metrics, if I may.
Sir.
And a key metric is what is the kind of employment opportunity that the IIM will provide me. My sense is if you were to ask my classmates who graduated from IIM 35 years ago, they would in 90% of the cases or in 100% of the cases tell you that they chose an IIM for the brand and for the employment opportunities that it would provide. And I have no difficulty with what I have been hearing in this session. But I think you are, because you have started the program only 6 years ago, you are at the moment not quite certain that you will be able to convert 100% of and help 100% of your students. That's the sense I'm getting. 100% of your students from getting the job opportunities they are seeking or from getting the research opportunities they are seeking. To be honest with you, not everyone may pursue an internationalization opportunity. And for me, the value proposition of an internationalization opportunity at the moment is not very strong. And thankfully, Professor Laknath is a marketing person and he would appreciate that. So leave that aside. Really, my son is coming to you with the hope that he will be groomed in a manner and he will put in whatever effort that he can. And at the end of it, he should be set up 100% for the opportunity that he wants. That is why every child decides to get into a professional education. Please believe me, I've been through 2 such opportunities with higher education institutions. And I suppose this is in the mind of each and every child that is sitting in the room today. So it is important not to stop short at saying that you will set up an ecosystem and you will provide the best of opportunities. I have no doubt that you will, given the fantastic faculty and all the facilities that you have. But to be able to somehow bridge the last mile and to be able to say that we will provide you the opportunities or we will help you to get to the opportunities that you desire. That is the dream with which people go to the IIMs today and go to the top institutions today. Not because, to be honest with you, they are dreaming of a huge quality of education that they will get inside the portals of an IIM. I am not wrong. I know that this is why students even today make the decision to go to an IIM and not to a lesser institution. So that's the point I think should be kept in mind when you advise students that they have at the back of their mind an expectation that having spent, and I'm thankful to the professor who came up first and he said that, Professor Pandey, who said that, look, huge amount of investment And that's the return that you must know your consumers. That's the return that consumers are looking for that investment, not just the internationalization.
Absolutely. Internationalization, going abroad is nothing. That is what I said. You should not just think about joining us or any college just by looking at some boy or girl and getting carried away.
Right. So I will have one or two other questions, but for the moment, I've had a long comment, so I will just pass it on to someone else.
Yes, there are two. I'll come back to you. आपके पीछे.
Thank you so much. Very detailed presentation.
Sir.
My adjoining question is, so the first batch starts in 2018. So with the numbers that you said, about 150 odd students per batch, so 350
No. We started in 2018 with BCom honors, and the first cohort had 40 students.
Okay, so whatever the number of students have passed, so typically 3 cohorts have passed so far, right? Now, if we look at those students now, would you be able to share where they have landed, what they have done? And I want to keep the average kids in mind. Of course, the extremes are what we have seen. There are certain things who have to do the catch up, but I want more keen into seeing the averages, what they have done, where they are. And I think a bit of a clarity will help us to make our mind what we want to do in adjoining to what Sir said. Thank you so much.
Sir, do you have that handout which was given?
We may have it, but we may not have read it out because of the paucity of time.
Just to help everybody understand where our alumni have been in the last 2-3 years, whether it was higher study or whether it was taking up a job, there are certain information where you can directly see. If you feel, you may connect with the students. We all live in a digital world. They are on LinkedIn. Try to connect with your seniors, figure out what their aspirations have been, what they have been doing in campus also, and then plan your journey. We ourselves are saying all this very simple thing that in terms of support, all good institutions are made by students. We are a growing institution, 5-6 years old. And imagine if we are having these kind of faculty members, subjects, interdisciplinary learning, when our students will go out, they went out in the field of law. Everybody knows it because we started in 2009. Now, if we start something in 2019 or 21, we started finance and entrepreneurship, the time will come, 2-3 years the students will take and they will outshine there also. But till then, we want that everybody should work hard, should work smart and take the best of the resources. Their life should not be just confined that I have attended 4-5 lectures and my day is over. Because you are studying in a campus where you are not just doing BCom honors. You are not doing just BA honors finance and entrepreneurship. You will be getting plethora of options to take cross electives from law, from public policy, from business school. And when you are connected with your professors, what Professor Ram mentioned, somebody may aspire and go into the field of research. Somebody may think, I want to go and take up a job. How you have to build your profile. Right from day one, internships are important. But where to start? How to take the second stage? How to take the third stage? We will there take you forward and guide you. And every student will have their own success story. It is as simple. Somebody will make that success story in the field of higher study. Somebody will make it in the field of a job. Somebody might think of doing some own startups. It's fine.
So then can we conclude all the students who have passed up in last 3 batches, again, average top, we saw the top stories. I'm still not able to get the answer. I'm so sorry.
Sir.
Is it conclusive? I mean, it may be the highlights. Is it conclusive? Let's say if you give me a number, 130, 140, make any number, right? How many percentage have gone done what? Unless you tell me whatever I see on the screen, again, I mean, this is indicative. This is not conclusive, at least from my basic understanding, right? So I'm more interested in knowing the averages. That's one. Maybe I'll pose the second question. I understand there are many opportunities. Now, we have to keep in mind the mixed bag of learners and I'm coming averages. There is the plethora of activity enabled. there's a structure. The learners are growing up teenagers with different personalities, different coming from different places, different aspiration. They don't know much about the age, have been living in a very nice, careful nests. They are out. Now, what is the system which will guide, coach them, steer them? Because there's a chances when they are alone, I may wake him up, oh, get up, you have to do X, Y, Z things. What is, I'm still not getting clarity on those points specifically. While the framework is fantastic, and kudos to all the investment effort what has gone. It's not easy. It's easy to say, but not easy to do. But it will be very helpful for me at least, or for a few other parents, to understand how this framework, so to speak, manifests out, plays out on a practical part of it. There is no doubt, again, I want to be clear, there's no doubt on the competency, capability, infrastructure, the setup, or the design philosophy, so to speak. But how it works, plays out in the practical day-to-day, if you can color it out, I would appreciate that.
You want to know more about the academics part of it, how it is going to shape? Am I right?
I would say mixed bag, because kids will be resident here, right? I mean, how will I ensure the kid is in the classroom, he is not bunking, so to speak? How will I ensure that he is not fallen sick, so to speak, sorry about that, in the classroom, and he has not in the classroom, or he has decided to bunk a particular class because he wanted to do something else, for example, was playing game previous night. Some of those practical parts of it out, I would be appreciating the answers and maybe some experience on that front.
This is indeed an important question, and I was thinking that you are most likely asking about the academics part, but yes, there is something life inside classroom, life outside classroom. Number one.
Inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and Professor Hemant Manoj very briefly spoke about the curriculum description, but it would be great if you tell us what happens inside the classroom, that, at least from my side, adding to the question, what happens inside the classroom that ensures, one, the points raised by the gentleman, and two, that the core curriculum is learnt in a fashion keeping all the reservations that the gentleman has, which are very relevant. बच्चा कहाँ है, क्या कर रहा है, chat GPT हर आदमी चलाता है, you can't escape from it. When people, children, they are children. I am a teacher also, after a corporate career of 35 years, and I am a student also in another institution, a well-known institution. So I know both sides, fortunately, unfortunately. जाने के बाद कोई पढ़ाई नहीं करता है, तो आप कैसे पढ़ाई करवाते हैं पहले 2 साल में कोर करिकुलम में? What are your teaching strategies? And also please don't let this overshadow what the gentleman has asked. He's asked very direct and thorough questions. Please answer that as well as this one.
Sir, उसी के लिए तो हम assemble हुए हैं आज, because they are our future. Questions and answers. So, Professor Hemant Manoj would be talking of life inside classroom. He will tell you. And I'll tell you something which is life definitely inside classroom but outside also.
Thank you, Vikramji. First of all, thanks. I mean, very beautiful questions. I completely empathize with you both as a parent, as a student, and as a teacher. So, just to mention, I have traversed myself that path. So, I happened to be myself at the portals of an IIT and then an IIM at the early stages of my life. I was probably one of the youngest PhDs in India from IIM. At the age of 24, I was a PhD from IIM Calcutta. Sorry, I didn't want to, I rarely talk about my part, but why I was mentioning is that to prove that, yes, I empathize with the questions you're asking. Second thing, to the point, to be honest, I don't have the data. As you asked, I don't have the data of the last 130 pass-outs, how many have. Probably it might be a, Professor Ram is here, so some broad indication I will request maybe Professor Ram can just highlight.
Yeah.
And
Sure. No, I think that's a very germane question that the gentleman asked, and I'm sure that it's on many of the parents and students' mind as well. So I'll give you the broad statistics of people who have actually graduated and what they are doing. And I see the trend that has changed slightly. Initially, when the 2018 batch students graduated, about 50% of them decided to go study, right? And some of them, I think about 40% of the students went abroad, primarily UK. One girl went to the US. And then the remaining out of the remaining 50% of the students, about 40% or 30% of the students went for employment. They found jobs, companies like EY and Deloitte and JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs, and other smaller companies as well. The remaining 15 to 20% of the students, they went to join their family business. That's how it was. But if I look at the consolidated statistics over the last 3 years, I would say that the number of people who are going for study abroad, maybe it is the effect of COVID, is that the number of people who have gone abroad has dropped somewhat, and to study abroad, that has gone down a little bit. And but we also see that people who are going abroad, it is now spread across other countries as well. Some folks have joined in US, Singapore. Some have joined, University of Melbourne. Some going to UK, some going to Canada. So I've seen a little more breadth of geographical dispersion of our students if I look at it compositely. More students are also joining their family businesses, and probably but now 60% of the students are either joining the family business or taking up a job. Because I think that mindset right now is that I want to work for 2-3 years and then go for my higher studies. So that the shift is happening significantly, and some of that is part of our coaching and mentoring process. So one of the things that I think was alluded to by one of the gentlemen before asking the question was, what do we do structurally, right? So once we are a teacher, we are always a teacher, and once we are a mentor, we become a mentor for life, right? And so even now, students come to me from the very first inaugural batch, asking for guidance, and coach say that, hey, I've Aaron Sherry, and he just came to me last week, and he said, yeah, I found this offer from JP Morgan, say, should I join or not join? And here's the contours of my new job. What should I do? So we provide guidance based on our experience and based on what we know. If I don't know something, I'll say, hey, Professor Alok Pandey will provide, or we'll direct them to the right places, right? So it is a process of ensuring that you are providing the handholding if required beyond the portals of our university campus. So it is a lifelong commitment that we have as faculty, as mentors, to make sure that our students continue to get the enrichment, and then we learn from them as well, right? Once they get into the corporate world, or once they become a graduate degree in MSc in investment analysis, they may learn certain new tricks, and so it is a process of mutual give and take, and it is our responsibility to ensure that they continue to be provided. So students reach out to me all the time even after they have graduated. From 3 years back, right? So Aaron graduated in he was a 2018 inaugural batch, and he reached out, and so I spent time with them. It doesn't matter, right? It's important to make sure that they get the guidance. So I see that a lot of the folks who compose in the composite manner, to answer your question, are going for higher studies, majority of them, and then about 30% of them are 30 to 40% of them are seeking for job opportunities, which they are getting, and the remaining 15 to 20% decide to go back to their family business. So that's the split, if you will. I hope that answers your question. As it relates to the in-classroom, what is it that we do? I'm sure that Professor Hemant will be able to address that more. And if I want, I can chime in because making sure that the students are straight up and behaving and learning in the right way and manner. And there are some structural, institutional constraints that students are to follow and adhere to. And so that kind of provides some discipline. But outside of that, the university is very strong on making sure that we build, mature men and women understand the character of what they need to be. So integrity is absolute of paramount importance. So yeah, over to you, Professor Hemant again.
Thank you, Professor. So, I would like to supplement what Professor Ram said with one or two quick things. Let me put the hat of a parent, because that's the best way to look at it first and then understand it. So if suppose my daughter, she's at this stage where she's getting in and I have concerns after 4 years, what kind of job she'll be doing, what is the chance that she'll get a good job? That is the primary question, basically, the way I'm seeing it. Let's not run away from it. So I'm also a parent, of course, to be sure. And along with some of my colleagues over here on the professor's side also, and many of you, of course, we are all part of the industry also. So the way placements happen, the way jobs come in, is a mix of many factors. And you cannot control all the factors. What you can do is make the process strong, which means make the academics strong and make the plus part of it also strong, which means which is where the attitude, personality, overall way of looking at life, things, business solving, problem solving, make those parts strong, right? That is the only thing in your control. The process has to be right. And then we know this not a perfect world. Networking matters, chances matter, right? I have been a product of a lot of luck. Let me put it this way. I have done pretty well. Many of us have done pretty well in life. Luck has played a big role. This, of course, this is also my standard question in interviews. When a bright child says, I have achieved, I have reached here because of only my ability, I tend to not like it. Because this is a value that we need to incorporate, that luck also plays a part. And how do you react to negative situations? These are some examples. So the process is important. Now, what do we do about the process? In terms of process, specifically, the availability of the professors for the students, and of the students, those who are sincere, not all of them are sincere. I'll be honest. Not all of them are sincere. I'm talking to you as a parent, plus a professor. In the class, I am often frustrated by some of the students. And I am also requested by some other students that why don't you do something about those students, because we are sincere. This is reality. But what do I do? What do we do? We focus more on the sincere students. We give them more time. We give them more guidance. We are able to give more because the faculty to student ratio is better here. The professors are not overloaded with classes, right? And just like as I said, we want to develop attitude and values and personality in the students, it's a strong criteria within the faculty also. It is not tolerated that, not expected, not tolerated that we ourselves will be not aptly behaved or aptly thoughtful while dealing with both the students as well as our colleagues. So what I'm saying, we are not perfect yet. We are building it up. But I can only say with all my experience, in all humility, we are in the right track and we are doing fairly well in that direction. That's all I can say. Right? So some indication Professor Ramchandran has given in terms of where all students go. I mean, they come from different sets of backgrounds, they want to do different things, so averages can be at times misleading. This is a bit technical point, but still. So he has given some, but I am talking of the process, the sincerity of the process. That is something that I can tell you, I have been in another, I have worked in multiple schools now, academic side. So I was in a top B school prior to this. I will not get into names, top B school, right? We, in terms of academics, we are yet to get there. In terms of overall growth, we are ahead of them. That's all I will say. This is an honest answer, right? So our focus is on the process. We are still building it up. And it takes patience. It takes everyone's efforts. So when I mentioned something, sometimes I'm frustrated in the class with some students. I wish their parents also cooperated with us, right? Unfortunately, often, we know the reality of life a lot of times. It doesn't happen. So with everyone's cooperation and effort, we have to take it there. But from our side, you can take it only one guarantee. You will never, ever get a complaint that some professor, a student wanted some help and guidance and the professor said, no, I'm not interested in guiding you. I'm not interested in helping you. That interest part of it, that will not be lacking, right? I think that's half the battle is won that stage itself. After that, 4 years hence, we have to try our best. And these are our children. Definitely when the process is strong, this direction, that direction, some direction, they will do well. That's all I can say. Okay. I don't know whether I've answered you to that extent.
Okay. Can you just add a couple more quick points? I think it's important I think Professor, you touched on the aspect of the discipline and the respect and the effort that we put in as faculty members, right? There are two other points that I wanted. I kind of alluded to it during my initial brief about mentorship and advisory. So one of the things that structurally what we have put in place is that every faculty is assigned 9 to 10 students across different programs, and they are assigned to them for the entire duration of the 4-year program, right? So what we want the students to do is to get comfortable with the faculty, to understand and learn from the faculty and ask questions of that faculty, in terms of, hey, I'm getting these 2 different electives to take, which one should I take? So I'm getting the offers from this internship, or I don't know how to get an internship. Can you help me a little more than whatever Professor Meenakshi and her team has done from the Office of Career Services? So, or I want you to review my resume in addition to what has been done, right? So these are things from a structural standpoint where the faculty has been assigned to the student, and the student can actually reach out to the faculty, and we encourage the faculty and the student to meet at least twice a semester outside the classroom for a cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is, and have a conversation, right, about how their plans are progressing. So these are some of the structural tenets that we have put in place, and some students take advantage of it, some students don't. And we as faculty, we reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to meet? Then it is left to the students to take that initiative, right? So those are some constructs that students can take advantage of to make sure that their thought process, whether it is the research internship, because students come to us and come up with great ideas. Do research. So do all of them get research internships? So many of them do, actually. The only thing that is kind of not may not work in the favor is they may not have the background and work in, let's say, the Department of Electronics or Department of Labor to do certain internship activities, right? So there may be some gaps there. I'm just using it based on the examples that came to my head. But then most of them do work on research projects. I have several undergraduate students working with me on research engagements, right? Some of them are paid, some of them are not paid. But that is a lot of that is to do with the initiatives taken by the students, and I think Professor Hemant used the word sincere, and it could be some, a lot of the sincerity comes from within and from the parents. So we encourage the students to be as close to the parents and vice versa to make sure that they are taking advantage of the different opportunities and resources available in the campus and the university, right? And it doesn't have to be from the General School of Banking and Finance faculty alone. There are students who reach across and go to the General Institute of Behavioral Sciences faculty members. They go to the General International Affairs School faculty members. That's perfectly all right. We encourage that. That is the entire point of interdisciplinarity, right? Because they feel that, this is where my future calling is going to be. So that is quite all right. And those are, again, institutional structures that are available, right? One of the students who wanted to, join the foreign services in the very second semester, he came to me and I said, I have no clue about this foreign services. But Ambassador Mohan Kumar, who was previously the Dean of the International Affairs and Global Initiatives Office, I put him in touch with Ambassador Mohan Kumar, and so both of them spoke, right? That is an institutional infrastructure capability that is available, right? The ability to connect and provide them the opportunity to learn from other areas, right? I don't know whether there's such a facility is available in other institutions. I'm sure there are. But I feel that this is a place where there is a lot of those kind of very open, transparent sharing of exchange of information, right? Between faculties, different faculties and the students, right? And then, of course, there is the university, policies on discipline, on sexual harassment. I'm sure that you have heard about that in terms of attendance policies. All these things provide some level of guardrail for the students to behave in an appropriate manner, both inside the campus and outside the campus. Bad things happen, bad things happen. But then that's part of the game, right? So
thank you, Professor Ram. So what we have here is that Professor Ram gave you an idea about the research part. I'll give you some initiatives we have taken. Now, this year, 2 of our students actually worked with Multi-Commodities Exchange of India, and they compared the asset markets, the equity side and the commodity side. 2 of them actually worked with designing volatility index for the commodity side. As far as working with industry, as Professor Ram said, there are several different schools here. In fact, there is one very interesting thing called competitive examination training. Not every undergraduate student would want to go and work in corporate sector. Like just now, I had a friend, a joint secretary, and his spouse who is a joint secretary. Her son is taking admission, and they have a twin. One is going for computer sciences in some engineering college. The other one is taking admission here. And daughter is studying psychology, and his daughter's name is same as my daughter, who is also doing engineering. Now, the fact is that often when you look at these examples and these things, some of them would want their children to become bureaucrats. Some of them would want them to. So we have an Institute of Competitive Studies. I'll tell you that undergraduate education is more about looking at your inner world. When you study undergraduate, you basically try to find out who you are. There are 2 worlds, one inside you and one outside. The outside world is a big one, right? And you need to train and understand your inner world to understand the outside world. That's probably what has been going on, from Gautam Buddha to Mahavir to Jesus Christ to Paigambar Muhammad and Nanak, probably the latest. And that's why, I love the religion. Sikhism is my favorite, actually. I've been born in Chandigarh and I've loved that place. Nanak says, Nanak nanne hi raho, jaise nanni doob. Right? Sab rook sukh jayenge, doob khoob ki khoob. And that is about ego. Nanak doesn't say don't achieve. Nanak says, learn to be humble even in the eyes of achievement. Now, similar idea is that, when you have, like, Buddha did the same, Mahavir did the same. They all try to understand who we are, where we want to go, and there's something called sense of purpose. So a lot of these young people need to understand, what am I good for? What am I good at? What do I love? What is it that the world needs? and what is it that I can be paid for. So the undergraduate programs largely have that idea. I have seen I've never taught undergraduate all my life. I've taught business schools. I've been director of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. I've been a paper setter examiner of CA Institute. And I somehow, feel that the courses which are taught in CA, CWA, CS, I've been sitting on a board for the last 6 years. I have a term till 2027 on a board of a company where I deal with these company secretaries and cost accountants and internal auditors and external auditors. What is it that we do there in Institute of Chartered Accountants of India that we have had so much of problem in India? We couldn't learn. I and Professor Hemant jointly teach a course on corporate governance, probably the only undergraduate school where we teach a course called corporate governance, right? So you understand this idea that these young people have to be, they probably will become an entrepreneur and they know how to run a board. Majority of the problem with the unicorns in India is that there is no board governance. What has happened to Byju's? Somewhere down the line, young people have to be taught how to handle themselves first, and then they'll handle the world better. So some of the things which are very good here is that competitive exam, how to clear a GMAT exam, or how to clear IELTS, get a good IELTS score. Probably you would want to study in some IIM. I was just told that one girl from some other school had scored 99 percentile in the CAT exam. Professor Hemant was telling me. So the fact is that we all believe that we are here for a bigger good, creating a generation of undergraduate students, because the government now says that there will be no postgraduate degree, though the IIMs would exist. But they say that a 1-year master's and 4-year undergrad. And I keep telling them, like last year, I'll tell you, I was interacting with the Vice Chancellor and he said, "Oh, Alok, how do we really make them capable?" I said, "You first train them." So, he asked my example. I'm the chairman of Index Committee of Multi-Commodity Exchange, right? And for 4 years, we've created those indices, right? Apart from a board position, this is the other position. I'm also the advisor to Aligarh Muslim University, right? Sit with the Vice Chancellor there. And I told the Vice Chancellor, if you train them in commodities, they'll become a winner. And at the end of it, I found my student winning one of the contests, Divyam Gautam. He's the... so I realized that, somewhere down the line, we don't really have to bother too much as to what the child would do after 4 years, right? We really have to be in the moment. We really have to understand where the child is. What I really understand is the child should not be in bad company. He should learn how to be physically fit, how to be mentally fit, and how to engage with the world in a positive manner so that he becomes a contributor to a sustainable world. How do we ensure that the child does not flaunt his wealth? We have had this case in Gujarat where now Dadaji and Papaji both are in jail because the child killed 2 people. Papaji got, they are one of the biggest builders of luxury apartments in that state, right? And Dadaji got the driver at his home. And Dadaji said, "No, my son was not driving the car. Driver was driving the car." And he's a senior man, he's in his 70s, the grandfather. So probably I think sustainability is something which needs to be taught. And we as a small school, which is now the 3rd largest school, we are getting a lot of traction in the market. We are trying our level best that we create conscious citizens. In fact, in our course in corporate governance, we had one full session, in fact, around 4 classes on presentations on corporate scams. How many of them were old scams? How many of them global scams and latest scams? So we hope that you enjoyed this session. You have any other question? We have a mental health facility for students and other things. They're very strict, I'll tell you. So there are sniffer dogs outside. So there are a face recognition system outside. So outsiders cannot enter the campus. Nobody can, right? So they have, the moment we find something wrong in your ward's room, we will rusticate him. All these actions are taken by the university, and yes, young people are bound to take. So it's not always rustication. So sometimes we take easier action, get them write some kind of a, arrangement with the parents that, my son or daughter would not do this. All efforts are made to keep this a smoking-free campus. Not allowed, not even faculty members. And I've read a mail from registrar one day who caught some particular faculty in the faculty block smoking somewhere. So we found some faculty smoking. No, please don't do it. Be an example. So nobody smokes, nobody drinks in the campus. If you find such things, we take action. Sometimes it's an undertaking and sometimes it's a rustication. So it's not always that we treat our students as criminals. No. Young people cannot be treated as criminals. They are the hope for the future. So, but they need to be told as to how to live a good life without addiction. So my idea is that if you take care of your child well, we are here to support him for his growth. Any other questions are welcome. Yeah. Right.
As an interviewer, I must have interviewed nearly about 200 people, and we look for attitude, the right attitude. How do you make, I've also heard the professor, speaking about the attitude. Thank you on that. So how do you make these youngsters the right citizens and the right people on the, who are physically fit, which you mentioned, and also on the academic part also, which is very important as well?
No, but basic part is sports is actually, it's a mirror for life. Sports basically tells you with rules what can be done, what cannot be done, how to be in a team, how to take a decision at the right time, whether it is football or cricket. What cricket teaches you, I'm not a big fan of T20 because this is something which reflects the signs of our times. A T20 basically judges you how you play cricket with the attitude of a baseball player. The whole idea is how fast can I hit sixes and how many can I six? How many sixes? That's a bad idea. Cricket was about patience. Cricket was about Gavaskar. Cricket was about that, yes, I have 4 innings to play, 2 innings for me, 2 innings for you. You give me a target, and if the match has to be drawn and I don't have wickets, I'll keep standing there, right? Not making 1 run in 50 overs. That was cricket, a gentleman's game. Now this is not a gentleman's game, right? This is basically a hitter's game, right? And bowlers are poor, they just keep watching what is happening to them, right? So the whole idea of life has changed. Sports of different types are available, facilities in the campus. From basketball to tennis courts to a world-class, I'll tell you, within a year, there'll be a world-class swimming pool available here. There's a sports block being built, right? On which there's a track, jogging track, and there's a 3,000-seater auditorium inside it. And because, right now we do our convocation ceremonies in Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium. And let me tell you one good part about the universities. We never delay our convocation. 7th of August is the birthday of the Shri O.P. Jindal, right? And we celebrated there with the convocation and foundation day of the university. The timetables are fixed. The academic calendar is fixed. Exams happen on time. Results are declared on time. And let me tell you, I have seen professors running, just because they did not submit the question paper on time. The professor has to go personally to the examination cell and submit in a pen drive a particular question paper. So the whole idea is that a lot of people, a lot of facilities of sports would be available. The students have the choice of working. Some of them have played internationally also, some of students.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. You have your university competitions and all, you push
We have some major competitions of different types, festivals and sports competitions. They all happen here. And I always insist that students must play because unless they are physically fit, right? I'll tell you, Professor Hemant is a marathon runner. And he runs, probably this year he might have run at least 6 half marathons. And every morning, every week, actually on a Sunday, he shares with us the 25-kilometer timing he has had, right? I am a singer, right? I am also a bit of a weightlifter, right? I basically do weightlifting and jogging at home, right, on my machine. But rather, I focus my attention on singing, right? I'm also fond of literature. So the fact is that children need to have all these to know that life is something more than just making money and spending money. We teach them how to earn sustainably and how to spend sustainably in the School of Banking and Finance.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, we are done? Yeah, please.
So I'm speaking on behalf of my my child who's seeking admission in BCom capital markets, right? So while it's a new field, let me tell you also, but I see it as an enormous potential. So that's why we are choosing this. So while I think somebody was mentioning that IIT got some poor placements, but I think the next day IIT also clarified that only 6.1% students are seeking employment. It's not that they have not received. I think by now they might have also received. So IITs are like pinnacle. They are like gems of our country. They will get placements, all of them. And I think also, so placement or no placement, the child may decide to pursue higher education. They may pursue their own family business. They may pursue placements. So by saying that placements are not, so we should not downplay placements. Only thing is that we have to make necessary efforts and we have to knock the right door. For capital markets, I will speak. For capital markets, I think Professor Manoj, you are also very much, including you, I have had a long discussion with you. So we have to go to the institutes, and I am 100% sure that this is very underperformed, underserviced sector, which will, the industry requires more people, more learned people, and we do not have. Look at the number of demat accounts which are being opened, and if we cross 15 crore demat accounts, I think we will be a sizable vote bank for the political parties as well. So not only the corporate. So that is the amount of importance that we have in this sector, and I'm sure the three things which I see personally for while choosing a college or institute is, first is the curriculum, second is the faculty, and third is the placement. Yeah. So these three are important. Faculty, I have met few of you, and I have great respect for you and you as well. Infrastructure, yes, 500 crore dikhta hai. We can see that.
Yeah, actually, it's. I'll tell you the numbers.
Yeah, and then the curriculum. The curriculum is the thing that I think NSE is guiding you on the curriculum.
We are taking CFA now into the fold.
Yeah, so curriculum has to be very, very. And third thing, already I mentioned.
No,
that
I got your question. I got your question. You know,
thank you.
As far as faculty recruitment is concerned, we only recruit from the topmost in the world, right? So what we have is, we recently concluded the round of recruitment for faculty. Me, Professor Hemant Manoj and Ram, we interview the faculty, and then we forward it to the higher authorities for selection. Majority of them are either from IITs or IIMs. We only select people from IIT Delhi as teachers. IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, IIM Calcutta kind of institutions, and we try to hone them to the direction of banking and finance. Infrastructure, as far as concerned, $500 million have been invested in this campus till date. 500 million more are to be invested in 5 more years, right? That's the statement of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. I have great faith in the leadership of my Vice Chancellor. The way he looks at things, the way he's very free with us in terms of getting our ideas through. I already have, I'll correct Priyanka, we have a trading system already in place, right, with NSE Smart. We are trying to convert it to a bigger one with London Stock Exchange Group. Very soon, I'm going to send a proposal to the Honorable Vice Chancellor for ensuring that we have a proper trading system and in a particular room. We'll work it out. But because, you need to have a thought process behind it. Third part, the placements. Placements basically now are in a 4-year program a priority. Why? Because we don't want students to waste 2 more years. But placements, we do not want to tell the student that you're here for placements. Right? Lord Buddha basically, or Mahavir, basically what do they tell us? Don't look for happiness. Don't search for happiness. You won't get it. So placements, if you really tell a student to keep looking for placements all the time, he'll not focus on the real ideas of skill building. Placement is a function of how we approach it. So Professor Meenakshi is here. What we do is, I'll tell you. What I'm going to do, one of the major banks, I'm not naming the bank, their learning and development team has contacted me on Monday. I have a meeting with them. Their entire new recruits will be trained here in our campus, right? In our campus. Now, when the bank, essentially we are a law university which has moved towards business school and now banking and finance school. MCX, for example, they need people. Bombay Stock Exchange. So my colleague Professor Hemant is on the board of one of the clearing houses, right? I am on the board of India's largest e-governance company. We basically want the companies to come and see what the campus is. So when I said distinguished does not mean a general manager. I called the chairman of Punjab and Sindh Bank here. I called the MCX chairman here. We'll get the chairman, current MD and CEO of the Bombay Stock Exchange, or National Stock Exchange, is a classmate of Professor Hemant Manoj, right? and they are from the same institution. I'm Calcutta, and probably I think we'll get the CEO and chairman of NSE here on campus. So remember, majority of what we want to teach our students is network is the key to living a good life. A social network, your good relationship with your parents, with siblings, with friends around you, with teachers, would ultimately mean, nobody is going to remember me if I don't network well. And networking does not mean for selfish purposes. You have to cater to somebody's needs. If a company feels we can train their employees, they will feel that we can also train their future employees who are getting educated here. So they'll rather take our students as ready-made employees. Right? So the way out is linking with industries, because essentially law is a very different kind of a field. Banking, finance, business is a very different kind of a field. And we are trying to add more value to it by connecting with companies in a different way. And ultimately, it will end up students getting placed. IIM Ahmedabad never started with a curriculum, let me tell you. And they never started with the idea of a placement. There was no placement.
No, you're right. I myself am MBA from FMS Delhi University. We never spoke of placements.
So
These
placement
happen automatically. Yeah. We never even thought of. No professor told. But because of faculty, the reputation is because the intake is also cream de la cream.
So again, another matter. Undergraduate education is not like a CAT score based education. We are following a kind of a system where anybody who wishes to get education, if he's reasonably good undergrad 12th score, clears the interview with our faculty, we would like to take the person, right? There are a lot of students who get rejected also in our admission process, seeing the attitude of the child, right? We don't want wrong kind of students to come into the campus also. So the fact is, undergraduate education cannot be straight-jacketed like an IIT JEE score or say a CAT score. And ultimately, it's not that the CAT score winners create unicorns. No, they don't. They're not the best players in the stock market. Sometimes chartered accountant. Most of my friends who are leading stockbrokers are chartered accountants. They're not MBAs. So, you have to understand that how education is framing up. You cannot predict what is going to happen 4 years from now. You can only train somebody to learn how to predict the future. And that is our student. Right? Anything else? Yeah.
He wanted to add something. Professor Manoj wanted to add something. You used to do, and you wanted to add, looks like.
No, I was just giving a moral support.
He started loving your voice.
No, so this is close to my heart, so I will say that only, that it's not an easy thing to do, which means basically we are trying to put all the right things in place. We are not yet there. Taking the horse to water is easy, but making them drink is not easy, which means in the context of our children, we are giving the best. 500 crore dikh raha hai, sahi baat hai. But how to make them get up in the morning at 6 a.m.? How to go for running rather than, getting my point. So what I'm saying, these are the attitudes, value systems when we talk of it. I don't have a clear answer of it. I'll be honest.
I'll just correct, sir, once again. It's actually the total investment is around 4,000 crores till date, 4,000 crores more. Every year, we are a CSR funded university. We have 400 crore rupees which come into the campus, get invested, which is basically a good idea without the promoters saying that we want a return. The best return is that we get the best kind of resources to serve society. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's like no patient should die for the dearth of a bed. So here no one will go out for the dearth of facilities. And how to motivate them to do that within the classroom as well as outside the classroom. In all my years, I have a lot of gray hair, it's colored actually. So in all my years, I don't have a solution as such. The only sort of solution is you do the right things and you try to talk the right things, do the right things, and they will be in some way motivated at some point, right? So that is what we are trying to do. We don't have perfection everywhere, but we are trying to do that. That is the direction we are doing. And placements, by the way, we are not undermining placements. I have seen situations where, whether we like it or not, the student's mind, You know, in the final year, especially in the MBA, MS level, of course it's there. Even in undergrads, a section of students, placements is there in the mind. So we can't do away with that. That's perfectly fine. What we can do, spend time with them and tell them what will work for them, what will not work for them. And that not alone just the teachers, their peers, their parents, their, you know, all kinds of ecosystem. Everyone has to work together. But that is what we are, as I said, we are not perfect, but we are in the direction of perfection. The heart is very much there, and the building blocks are very much there. That I can say with my experience, right? The building blocks of whether it is academics, whether it is outside the classroom, whether it is the value system building, they are very much there, right? I wish it was faster, but it takes, I'm sorry to use this, it takes certain time to deliver certain things, right? It's happening. Okay.
So I think we are done with it.
Sir, good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. I wanted to ask you about the CFA Institute partnership you talked about earlier. What was that about? Can
You know, the
elaborate?
CFA grants something called a university affiliated program status to one of your programs, right? So they only had the master's program with them. I spoke to the national head of CFA in India. I and Professor Manoj, we worked with our faculty. We have sent to them our detailed course mapping idea. They have an office in Singapore. Their people are in touch with us, and probably very soon we'll get a UAP status. That would mean that 3 to 4 of our students can pursue the CFA program for free. Rest, what will happen is that they'll continuously send their CFA trained executives who are working in industry to speak to us. Remember, it's an investment program. It's actually the practical side of finance, CFA. But the fact is that the entire idea of our faculty, the way it looks at it, needs to be trained by them. So this is our first year with the CFA. We are going to get it. Both the institutions, I and Professor Hemant, and worked for a long time, had CFA status. But it depends on you how you tackle it. Once you get admission to CFA course, it's tough basically, but not difficult. It's not as difficult. And it does grant you some kind of an access to jobs in markets. So both ACCA, CFA, any other certification you take up would help you develop yourself into a professional whom the market accepts. Gone are the days when CA was a requirement, because, you know, that was a government rule. Government companies used to say that you should have a CA from Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and then you'll get a job. Now you have the knowledge and you will get the job, right? And that is something, and these are all widely accepted globally. You know, CFA is a globally accepted kind of a degree. So once you join, probably we'll have the UAP status by then, and we'll just work out that those who join, they get support from the CFA Institute, and you clear. Already some of our students have cleared CFA level 1 and they are in level 2, right? So I think if you wish to do it, you're most welcome to do it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have an adjoining question to that point. So my son right now, he is interested in CFA, but is it confirmed that it will be granted this year so that he can opt for it out?
No, please don't misunderstand me. CFA UAP status basically means that the CFA curriculum now gets closely mapped to our curriculum.
Okay.
You go and appear in the exams, and CFA provides all the supports, all the trained CFAs they send to our campus. They interact with our faculty and help us build a curriculum which helps student crack the exam. Remember, it's a tough exam. Ideally speaking, it talks about how fundamental investing happens. Right. So in a fundamental investing, what you need to do is how do you learn balance sheets better? You know, normally most of the balance sheet readers or income statement readers just look at some ratios, and they've got something very innovative, right, with them in their curriculum. So the fact is that as it comes in, it will give a new edge to our capital markets program, which was largely focused with NSE. You know, we had National Stock Exchange help us design that program 3-4 years back when it was started. I think 21 or 22 it was started. I and Professor Manoj, when we joined, we decided that no, this is not something which is completely doing justice to the course, right? Because the NSE programs are fairly low end, and let us add something more. So NSE will continue with us. Their teachers come. Out of 50 hours, 10 hours are taught by NSE faculty in the program, and the students get a chance to crack, and all of them largely clear the NSE certifications. What we want to raise the benchmark a bit.
Got it.
Right? Just knowing how the stock market function is not enough because the NSE certification has a class 12th requirement. Right? For a CFA program, earlier largely postgraduates were doing it, but now undergrad students are also picking up and they learn it because we teach them better. In fact, our accounting teacher is IIM Ahmedabad PhD and she does a good job. Another one who teaches accounting is an IIT Kanpur PhD. Keval Singh and Monica teach accounting courses here. Monica is from IIM Ahmedabad and Keval is from IIT Kanpur. So what we feel is that as we get into the details of it, the benchmarking will have to be improved. And the students will have to learn that you have to work hard to clear the courses. There's no automatic route there that you come in and you'll get the clearance. Yes, the CFA will now support us better.
Got it. Thank you so much.
I think all of you are now longing to have a campus hostel visit, right? You can just hold on for a second. Because I have to tell you who will be taking you, because girls hostel is on one side and the boys hostel is on the other side. So you have to give me few seconds. I can depute my team member who can take all the girls through one side and all the boys from the other side. Can I request all the girls along with their parents to please rise? All the females, you may please rise, and you'll go from that door with Miss Chinky. Chinky is there standing waving her hand. The shuttle is already there and they will take you for the hostel. We have triple sharing accommodation as a policy. There is no concept of double sharing or single sharing rooms. All the rooms are centralized AC, attached toilet. Everybody has to stay inside. Nobody can go out of the campus on their own until and unless their parents approve their gate pass. Parents would like it, children don't like it. They say we are all now 18, why do we need it? But this is a policy. You are coming here, your safety is very important. You are asking about how we can keep check and balance. We will train you for that. You just have to ensure two things as parents. Number one, your email ID password should not be with your child. That is the first request I have. आपके email ID के passwords अगर आपके बच्चों को पता है तो please उसे change कर दीजिए. That's the first thing. Because every time my colleagues would send out email, you might say, sir आपने open house में तो बहुत कुछ बोला था, attendance short होएगी तो mail आती है. But often mothers are the soft targets because मम्मी के IDs जो होते हैं वो बच्चों ने बनाए होते हैं, if they are primarily housewives. And this is a part of my research which I am telling you. इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ mothers housewife जो हैं वो स्पेशली अपने ईमेल आईडी के पासवर्ड चेंज कर दें. हम लाइव